Specifically today, I wanted to talk to you about marketing strategy. And then tomorrow we're going to go into tactics. So let's get this thing started. I'm going to start off with a quote from one of my favorite marketers, probably my favorite marketer. His name is Seth Godin. If you don't know Seth Godin, he wrote a great book called This is Marketing. You've got to take a look at it. It came out in 2018. Small little book. And you can read that in the span of about 2-3 days and get so much out of it. So here it is. Marketing is the generous act of helping others become who they seek to become. That's Seth Godin. Now, no one taught me this coming into real estate. No one took me aside to say, Tristan, your job is to help other people's dreams come true. And be sure to market yourself that way as well. Most people are guilty of this, opening up their business, and they're driven primarily by making money and not focusing on actually making a difference in people's lives. Now, our world is in the middle of a massive cultural change in different ways. But when it comes to the way people buy, it's towards the end of the shift. And you can tell by the old regime and the new regime of people really pressure selling you and then no longer taking that approach. It's like the North Pole and the South Pole type thing. Every 300,000 years or so, the North Pole and the South Pole, they actually switch places, right? So the magnetic fields of Earth flip. And the same way, the true north, the method that works best is flipped. Instead of the selfish pressure selling, mass spamming, effective marketing now relies on service and truly caring about people. And I think it always has. But the thing is, for a while there, we had so many people just spamming and throwing crap and telemarketers. People won't connect with you if you do that. But people will not connect with you more if they know and feel that you're just out for yourself. And this selfishness is very clear in the way that people market. You can tell in real estate. Just think about it for a second and look through everyone that you know in real estate, and you're going to find 2 to 3 to 5 people that you can clearly identify as spammers. But if you truly care about people and they know and feel that you want to do something about it, they can align themselves with you. Here's the challenge though. Most salespeople don't understand this. They don't understand that the world we live in is changed. Let me give you an example. Yesterday, I took a survey in Lab Coat Agents and I asked everyone, hey, why do people want to buy houses? And I got almost 200 responses. Some of them answered with security, equity, family, freedom, stability, self-worth. Some people even said the dog, which might be true. But most of them missed the mark. See, the secret to marketing is this, and I want you to remember this. Everyone has desires. And these desires are driven both by irrational and rational reasons. All of us have developed this through our environment. But our job, here's our job, it's to align our marketing with being the solution to helping our target audience achieve those desires. Now, there's also one other thing we often forget. You see, in everything you do, online and offline, where people are saying, hey, you don't need a mask. Hey, you need a mask. I'm Republican, I'm Democrat. Whatever you're doing online and offline, that's how you market yourself. You are your brand. You are what you repeatedly do offline and online. You're tied to your brand every day. See, you are your brand. Every day you're either connecting with more people or you're not. Now, here are the 5 steps. I've broken them down into 2 parts Today's part I wanted to go over, it's called the strategy. Part 1 is your strategy. There are 3 steps. Number 1 is this. You've got to think about this. Who is your real audience? The people. What people? You can't change everyone. So you have to ask yourself, who is this for? Who is this piece of marketing that I'm creating for? You've got to focus your actions and your energy on those that you can help. You're never going to be able to focus on those other people that just don't buy that, whatever it is you're selling. Here's how you break it down. What area do you work specifically? What area do I work? How do they think? What are their dreams? What do they want? Are they moving up? Are they moving down? And next, what's the demographic look like? Who are you targeting? What age? And with that, you can ask yourself the first questions again. With that age, what are their dreams? What are they looking for? What will allow me to connect with them more? What will show them that I care? And when you start breaking it down as to what area do I work and what demographic am I looking at, you start looking at it like a true business. Because when you look at these multi-million, multi-billion dollar businesses, they all started with a niche. I don't remember offhand who wrote the book. He talked about starting with the smallest niche. And this is where I want you to take a look at where you're at. It's okay to cover a very small area to start because you're trying to find your tribe. You're trying to find those people that can connect with you. But you have to ask yourself, what area are you working in? And what's the demographic? Because your message will not connect with everybody, and that's okay. You're not trying to target everybody. Now here's part 2 to this. Well, actually, step 2, still under strategy. What makes you unique? It's your story, right? What makes you unique? Your story is the most important story that you should be telling. Remember this. Remember the beginning quote, marketing is the generous act of helping someone solve a problem, their problem. It's a chance to change the culture for the better. It's a chance to serve. And so often we don't start there. We start with, well, how's this going to make me the most money? And when I look back and I accidentally started Lab Coat Agents, I did not start with that. I started with, how can I help the most real estate agents in the world? What message do I need to be delivering with what I'm already great at? And that's what started a movement. Now, you ask yourself, am I approaching this in a reverse way? Because the consumer thinks, what will you do for them? What will working with you achieve for them? How are they feeling when they see what you're marketing? Again, there aren't very many feelings to choose from, right? It's not like we have weird feelings that nobody else has felt. They're all the same. So think about it. What feeling are people feeling? You look at the greatest commercials out there on television. They make you laugh. They make you cry. They make you feel. The same thing with the best movies. What makes us any different? Just do it in different ways. Now, we look at real estate. We can pivot. We can change. We can adapt it and say, well, you know what? We're offering a different service, product, stories. We're doing it for different people. Now we've picked our demographic. We picked the area that we're working in. What story do I need to tell to my audience to be able to connect with them? And you think, if you can bring someone belonging, connection, peace of mind, status, or one of those other most desired emotions, you've done something worthwhile. So this is what you sell. Remember this in marketing, okay? The thing you sell is simply a road to achieve those emotions. And we let everyone down when we focus on the tactics and not the outcome. So I've broken this section down here, this what makes you unique in your story, into two little sections here, A and B here. Number 1 is stories that help them get what they want. What's the story that you're telling, whether it's through postcards, whether it's online, door knocking, mailers, open houses, your business card? What is that story? Is that story helping them connect? Are they looking at you and saying, wow, this person can really help me get to where I want to get to? Because that's the story that I'm seeing. And number 2 to this is, You need to be still telling stories that connect with your target audience through your genuineness. You will connect with more people. You just have to be you. And you have to be okay knowing that you're not going to connect with everyone in the world. Your audience is a small niche. And the better you serve that niche, the better you tell the story, whether it's on the phone, in person, open houses, events, mailers, whatever it is you're doing. That story has to coincide and it has to connect with people. Because remember, the thing you sell is simply a road to achieve those emotions that they want, right? Belonging, connection, peace of mind, status. And here's the third part for this part, which is this is under strategy, right? It's a third section under strategy. And tomorrow we go into tactics because that's secondly important. Number 3 is, what's your objective? Here's a simple example. It's a story, okay? Both Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks sell coffee. But for the first 2 decades of its existence, Starbucks didn't try to sell coffee to people who bought from Dunkin' and vice versa. While there are external hints about the two groups, in Boston, you would find more taxi drivers and construction workers at a typical Dunkin' Donuts than you would at Starbucks. The real distinction wasn't external but internal. Starbucks set out to serve someone with a very precise set of beliefs about coffee: time, money, community, opportunity, and luxury. By obsessing over this group of someone's, Starbucks built a brand for the ages. Now here it is. There's 2 sections to this part. Remember that what's your objective, right? 2 sections, and then we wrap up. Number 1, brand awareness. Is your objective to throw your brand out there so people will know who you are? Is that your objective? Because if it is, you should be doing it right, and you don't care about the leads part. Or you could be doing it for the second part, which is leads. Even when you go to the back end of Facebook, on Facebook lead ads, it says, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want awareness or do you want to get leads? Traffic versus conversion. What do you want? And they're both great. It just depends where you're at, and you need to identify the objective. Am I going for all brand? Now that you've outlined your message and your story, and you can decide what you can do to create this brand awareness through that story that you're going to tell, you start small. And you say, okay, these are the people. This is my demographic. This is the area that I want to target. And I'm going to go with mailers and flyers. That's what I'm going to do. And after that goes well, I'm going to do Facebook lead ads. But I'm mainly doing it to start for brand awareness. And then I'm going to go into leads. Now, if you can do the reverse, you can say, well, you know what? I want leads. And then you start looking at places where you can bring in more people to actually convert. Now, then your plan looks different. Do you go into Google? Do you go to social media? Do you do personal events, referrals, open houses, door knocking? What do you do? The point is you have to have your objective outlined. What does that look like? Am I doing this for brand awareness? Or am I doing this to create more leads or more opportunities for me? We never look through it with those eyes. We just say, hey, this looks good. Let me just put a whole bunch of money in this and kind of do it. And don't even think of the story behind it. So the strategy is this. Number 1, who's your ideal audience? What area do they work in? What demographic? Next, what makes you? What makes you unique? What's your story? You're trying to tell stories that help people get what they want and stories that allow people to connect with you because of your genuineness. And lastly, for this one, what's your objective? Is it for brand awareness or to create leads? Thanks for joining me for part 1. Look for part 2, and do me a favor, please subscribe and click that little bell. Thanks for joining me again. Have an awesome day.